Today I am in Wimbledon in London. I'm outside the new Wimbledon Theatre here. But I'm not here to go to the theatre, I'm here to talk about the Wetherspoons that is over the road, the Wibbas Down Inn. Now this place is huge, it's got 2 bars, it's got 2 entrances on 2 different roads. So let's head inside and see what it's all about and what the food is like. So here I am inside the Wibbas Down Inn and I've got the menu. This place is absolutely massive. So it used to be a Tesco store before it became a Wetherspoons. It's been a Wetherspoons for about 30 years, so it's long-standing history here. But it's one of the only ones I've been in that's got 2 bars and it's got 2 entrances. So it's got an entrance on that road there next to Wimbledon Theatre, and there's a bar right at the front here and there's a set of toilets. And then you go all the way through, there's a central area, and then there's another bar, another set of toilets, and another entrance. So it's basically like 2 pubs put together, so really huge. I don't know how many seats are in here, but absolutely millions. Mine's number 14, so that doesn't really give me a hint. And this is the menu, and it's got a picture on here of an old English king. And the reason why this pub is called the Wibbas Down Inn is because it relates to a battle that apparently took place in something like 1548 between the King of Kent and I think the King of Sussex, and I'm not sure who won that battle. And in those days this area was not called Wimbledon, it was called Wibbandune, and so the Wibbas Down Inn is sort of a nod back to that history from 1500 years ago, so quite interesting. And I've got a copy of the Wetherspoons News, I'm not sure whether you've seen this. Quite long, quite a meaty publication this. Lots of different things in here, including all of the hotels on the back. Maybe I'll spend a few hours reading that later, or maybe not. But I've got the menu and I'm here for breakfast, so I've already ordered my tea. Oh, here's my breakfast.
Seats were wet.
Oh yeah, well, that's fine. It's all right. Thanks very much. Somebody was already here before me, so I just cleared the table. Thank you very much. Okay, so my breakfast has arrived. I was just told the seats were wet because there's a sign saying seats are wet, but they feel fine. I don't know, I'm not sure why they were wet. Maybe they were cleaned beforehand. Anyway, back to the menu. Before I show you what I've got, I decided to go for one of the breakfasts, and to mix things up a little bit, I've gone for the vegan breakfast, which comes in at £2.99. I've also got my cup of tea, £1.81, refillable all day long, so cheers. So let's have a look at what you get in a vegan breakfast, because this is not something I've ever ordered before in Wetherspoons. It's actually really busy in here, even though it's only 11 o'clock in the morning. There seems to be lots of clubs in here, so there's lots of people having breakfast, loads of people just in here, either workers or people who are coming in for breakfast, so always busy, the Wetherspoons. Now, the vegan breakfast we've got here, we have got how many different items? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you follow the channel, you'll know that the English Breakfast Society say that there should be 8 things on a classic English cooked breakfast, and they are sausage and bacon. So there's no bacon here. This is a vegan version, so they've obviously not gone for any vegetarian vegan bacon. An egg, no egg here. Beans. I've got a hash brown that isn't in the classic for the 8. Tomato, mushroom, toast. We're also missing black pudding from this, as well as the egg and the bacon. So I've got 2 sausages, 2 hash browns, 2 mushrooms, 2 pieces of tomato, some baked beans in a nice pot, and 2 pieces of toast. Well, it's probably this 1 piece of toast that's been cut in half, but looks like 2 pieces. Okay, let me get started because everybody will be complaining that I'm talking too much and not doing any eating. So let's have a look at this vegan sausage. So this is what it looks like. Now, I don't know what's in it. There's no description in the menu to tell me what's in it. Let me have a taste of it. Neat before I put some bean juice and maybe some sauce on it. Okay. First impression. I mean, first impression, it tastes a bit like a sausage. It's got the same sort of consistency, so they've done a good job in terms of it's not too soft. Sometimes when you have vegetarian options, they're very soft and mushy and don't really work. This is quite firm, so it gives you a bit of bite. And it's actually got quite a lot of salt in it, so it gives you quite a nice aftertaste actually. It's not quite been cooked the same as a sausage. It doesn't have the same hard outer edge that you would expect from a sausage, where you've got an outer and an inner part. It's basically similar consistency all the way through. Let me have a little bit more. So it doesn't taste of vegetables. So it's not like it's just packed with vegetables. It does taste a bit like meat, a little bit like meat. It's quite nice. I don't think you can compare it to an actual sausage. It doesn't taste like a pork sausage or a beef sausage, but it's quite flavoursome. It's got quite a lot of spices in there. I'd compare it maybe to haggis, if you've ever had haggis, or any sort of mixed meat with spices in there. So quite a decent flavour, I'd say. I'm quite impressed with that. That's quite nice. If you didn't tell me it was a vegan sausage, I'd just think it was some sort of, weird type of sausage that I wasn't quite sure what it was made of. Let's have a look at this hash brown. So it's nice and crispy on the outside, nice and fluffy on the inside. It looks pretty good. It's been really well cooked. I presume that is exactly the same as the hash brown that you get on the standard breakfast, because it tastes really good. There's no diminishing in terms of flavour. It's got a nice hard outer edge, chewy inside, really quite tasty. That's good. Let's try this mushroom. So quite nice big mushrooms. Now, you don't get mushrooms on the normal meat version of the breakfast in Wetherspoons. So it's interesting that you do get them on the vegan one. This is what it looks like. It's nicely cooked. That's really tasty. I would ask for that. In fact, I think next time I come for a standard breakfast, one of the traditional ones, I'm going to ask for extra mushrooms or pay extra for the mushrooms. They're really tasty. Let's see what these fried tomatoes are like. They don't look like they've been fried very much. They're still quite solid, still quite looks like a tomato. It tastes good though. It's warm, it's been cooked. It's not overcooked. Sometimes they can go a bit soggy if you overdo it. That's pretty nice. Right, let me have a bit of that toast with the beans. So what have I got here? I've got sunflower spread. So obviously this is a vegan breakfast, so I can't have butter. Nothing with dairy in it. It has to be completely vegan, so plant-based. So this is vegetable-based. That's vegetable fat spread, it says on it. 8.6 grams. So nice and soft, easy to spread. Let's put it on a bit of this toast. Let's see what it tastes like on the toast, the vegan spread. I mean, it's basically, in old money terms, this is margarine. So when I was growing up as a kid, margarine was sort of seen as being the lesser alternative. Everybody wanted butter, but butter was more expensive. So the poor people, me included, sometimes we couldn't afford butter, so we had spread, and it was seen to be like the cheap option. Whereas now, it's seen to be the vegan healthy option to have a plant-based spread rather than butter, which is obviously dairy-based, made from cow's milk. Well, the toast is good. Toast is nice. It's really well cooked, actually. It's just how I like it. Nicely toasted on both sides, not overdone. It's not hard. It's nice and soft. Good flavour. The spread tastes fine. That tastes as good as butter to me. I would happily have that any day of the week. Let's taste these beans. I've had the beans here before. Now, I've said that they're not Heinz beans because I've got a certain taste in my mind of what Heinz beans are like. However, I've been told by lots of people that they are Heinz beans, but they're just their low salt and low sugar version, so they probably have a bit less taste than normal. The beans I think the beans here are really good when you have them with something else. I think if you have them on their own, they are a bit watery and a little bit tasteless, and certainly not as sweet as traditional Heinz baked beans. But as an accompaniment, they give you that nice bit of moisture, a little bit of flavour. Yeah, I think it works really well. So overall, I have to say that the individual parts of this breakfast stand up pretty well, particularly this vegan sausage. Let me have a little bit with the beans, because that's the classic combination of sausage and beans. In fact, they actually offer that as a main course here. You can have sausage, chips and beans as one of the traditional mains. That works well. The sausage is a bit softer than a normal sausage, so you will notice the difference if you're a meat eater and you're used to pork sausages. It doesn't quite taste the same, but it does have quite a lot of flavour. It's filling. It feels like there's a lot of protein in there. Works really well with the beans. Let me have a bit. Let's have a bit of that sausage with some HP sauce. Now, this is the big debate. Do you have brown or red sauce? Now, I prefer brown sauce with my breakfast. I know a lot of people prefer red. Some people have both, which is quite controversial. Let me just have this sausage with a bit of brown sauce, because that's really the acid test as to whether or not this is a genuine tasty sausage. That works well. That's the best combination with that sausage, I think, is to have some brown sauce with it. So yeah, definitely a winner. So let me finish the rest of this breakfast and I'll see you for the bill and the wrap up. Okay, so I've now finished my vegan breakfast. I'm still having my tea. This is actually my second one, so that's the great thing when you come here. It's unlimited refills all day on the tea or the coffee. Not on the hot chocolate anymore. It used to be, but then the UK government brought in a law to try to stop obesity, to prevent companies from offering really cheap deals on things with a lot of sugar in them, so they can't do unlimited refill on the hot chocolate, but you can do it on the tea and the coffee. And also you get water complimentary, so I could have just had water with my breakfast, which would have made it a bit cheaper, but it was pretty cheap anyway. So let's have a look at the bill. And of course I've got my phone because I've ordered on the app. I used the table number here, ordered, and then everything gets brought to me. Today I got my cup within about 45 seconds of placing the order, and the food came around about 3 or 4 minutes in. You saw it when it came, really super quick, and it was hot, well presented. So let's have a look at that bill. We'll have a look at that in a moment, actually. We'll just talk about the food to start with. So a vegan breakfast. So probably, I don't think many people watching this video have probably had a vegan breakfast at Wetherspoons. You don't really associate Wetherspoons with vegan food. You associate it with traditional food. I don't think vegetarians, vegans would think about coming to Wetherspoons, but actually they've got quite a lot of choice. So there was a vegetarian option and a vegan option in terms of the breakfast. Now I went for the vegan just to see what it was like, and it had lots of different things on there. So we had toast, the tomatoes, the mushrooms, the hash browns, sausages, and the beans. And the sausages were probably the main course out of all of those things. They're the most filling. And the hash browns as well. Did I mention them? Yeah. So the sausages, I think, were basically the main ingredient. A vegan sausage tastes different to a standard sausage, no bones about it. But actually, that was a good quality vegan sausage. It was well cooked. Sometimes you get them a bit too soft and mushy, they fall apart. This one held together. It looked like a sausage, had the same consistency as a sausage. It didn't quite taste like a pork sausage, but it was very tasty. It had lots of flavour, lots of spices in there. I enjoyed it. I ate both of those sausages. It worked really well with the beans, and I think we talked about the beans before. The beans here are a little bit more watery than beans that I have normally. They don't taste quite as sweet or just the same, but as an accompaniment, they do add a bit of value to your breakfast because you've got that moisture, and it just sort of gives you all the different options. Because that's one of the great things about an English breakfast, is that you can combine all of the different things on your plate so that you get different taste sensations going on. So you can have sausage with the beans, you have sausage with the tomato, sausage with the mushroom, bit of hash brown, maybe on toast, all of those sort of options. Really, that's what the beauty of an English breakfast is that it's different every time you eat it. And of course you've got the sauce, which you can add. I like brown, people like red, some people like mustard. Occasionally I do have mustard. Anyway, getting back to the breakfast, the hash browns were good quality, nice, well cooked, nice and soft and fluffy inside. Tomatoes were good. Mushrooms were excellent, actually. They were something I think that I would look to order again next time I come to Wetherspoons, and the toast was good. So overall, I was pretty impressed with the vegan breakfast. And interestingly, unlike a traditional breakfast, now that I've eaten it, I don't feel weighed down. Sometimes when you have a full English breakfast, afterwards you think, oh, I've eaten a bit too much food, maybe I've eaten a bit too much meat for this time of the morning, maybe it's been a bit fried, you're feeling as if maybe you should have had the lighter option, the healthier option. I don't feel like that after the vegan breakfast. I actually feel just a nice level of full. So I feel like I've eaten something. I don't need to eat now for a good few hours, but I don't feel greasy and unhealthy and any sort of regret. So I have to say, from that point of view, the vegan breakfast does have some advantages over the traditional. Now, what about the bill? So as I said, I ordered on the app, so I don't have a paper bill. They send you an email, which is great because it's easy for me to keep a record of it. Now, that vegan breakfast was £2.99. That is extremely cheap. That is very cheap for all the different ingredients that I had on a plate in a restaurant setting with free water. That is incredible. I could have just had water in that, £2.99, job done. I didn't. I bought this, so £1.81 for unlimited tea or coffee. That is a steal. That's a great deal. So the total bill for my vegan breakfast with tea is £4.80, less than £5 for a vegan breakfast. That is incredible value. You have to say, everything on the menu, maybe apart from the porridge, everything on the menu is really good value at Wetherspoons. You get a good deal and you get a lot of food for your money. So value-wise, 10 out of 10 every single time. What's my score for the vegan breakfast at Wetherspoons? Well, I'm marking this in the context of Wetherspoons. So I'm not benchmarking it against a high-end Michelin star meal, because obviously if we were, then the only restaurants that would get high scores would be the Michelin ones, and everybody else would be down in the lower end, because you can't really compare a vegan breakfast at Wetherspoons against a tasting menu at the Savoy or the Ritz or something like that. It's not like for like. So in terms of across the board for breakfast, what did this score? Well, I'm going to give this a solid 7.5 out of 10. And as you know, if it's 7.5 or above, I would come back, and I would definitely come back and have that very same breakfast again. So yeah, and in terms of this pub, it's a great pub. If you haven't been to the Wibbas Down Inn in Wimbledon, I would come and check it out, because it is massive, it's huge. It's not the most grand building inside, it doesn't have ornate ceilings or no sorts of things, but it is very big, and it's got 2 entrances. It's light from the front and the back. It's very lively, it's bigger at the back, it sort of opens up a little bit. So definitely a good venue. The food here is good. The vegan breakfast particularly, I would recommend. So thank you for watching this video all the way through to the end. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you again on the next.